I grew up in a household with very, very little money. But whatever we had, you know, half a loaf of bread or something, my mother would feel it necessary to make sure that other people had some bread. And so I just grew up thinking that was what you did. You helped others. My father owned the business, right? He was a mechanic. That it all sounds so fascinating. There was welding going on. There were things breaking always going on, and the question is why? Why did that happen? And so I knew what I wanted to do, and pretty much what I'd wanted to do since about grade 11. Of course, I went directly from Caledonia High School into the Navy when I was 17. And I spent 3.5 years in the Canadian Navy, all during the war. But I was a coder for 3 years or so, and then I was promoted to officer rank. I identify myself as a war veteran. I don't know many heroes, except some dead ones. And I certainly never considered myself or any of my close friends as heroes. Of course, some life was difficult. If you're at sea in the North Atlantic in a storm, that's hell. It's just absolutely terrible. But nothing heroic about it. Like, you're there, you're going to do a job, you're going to somehow survive this, you're going to do what you have to do. The Navy has a saying that if you throw up, you clean up. Right? And in a bad Atlantic storm, there are a lot of us cleaning up. If you do a few things like that, it knocks out any silly ideas of being a hero. And then in the back of my mind always was, at some point, I'm going to get to university. It'll be over someday. I'm going to get to university. But it was a bit of a shock to find that the life I've been leading for 3.5 years is no more. I'm free, and I don't know that I realized just what that meant until I stepped ashore from that particular trip and said, wow, like, I can go home. And I think most people felt the same way. Man, I can go home. Then I went to the University of Toronto to do my degree. Finally ended up doing a doctorate degree, PhD at Toronto. And then stayed at Toronto for quite a while as a professor. And then one day they asked me if I'd like to come to Guelph as the president. And that was such a shock. And when I spent 8 years as the president of the university, all very exciting years because we were growing, we were changing the focus of the institution in many places. And so I was quite happy with the 8 years that I spent here. Whether anybody else was, I'm not sure, but I was. And when I walked on the, what is now Winegard walk up past the residences, I'd go into the residences, you know, every couple of times a week, shoot the breeze and talk. A couple of those students came to me and said, did you really mean all that stuff? You sat down and listened to us about, you know, doing your duty and helping people. And I said, yeah. Well, we have an idea. We'd like you to run for Parliament. When I came back on a Sunday afternoon, they had assembled 200 people. And then with sort of fire in their eyes, you got you now. I said, wow, okay. I said I'd do it, and we will. My dad lived long enough for me to be a member of Parliament. which I think he enjoyed. He enjoyed it probably more than I did. If I'm just thinking about where have I been, who have I helped, whatever, what job would I love to do all the time? For me, that's easy. Professor. Whether it was at Toronto or all the time I was president, I taught at Guelph. It had everything that I wanted. Curiosity, doing your own research, and meeting young minds all the time. And man, you can't have it any better than that. I read to kindergarten kids every week, and I love it when they start to ask questions. Then I know that I'm there for a purpose. That's not the purpose if I'm reading. I'm reading because I love it. But when I see the kids beginning to ask questions, then I know, hey, that's been a successful period. And great fun, of course. I would never want to stop reading to kindergarten kids. There's nothing inherently important with being Bill Winegard. I believe I have a responsibility. Not a civic responsibility, but I believe I have a human being responsibility to help people if I can. The good part of that really is I have been so fortunate myself that I have been able to help. I've been lucky. Everybody's reaching out for help in some way or another. And if you're blessed with reasonable health and a reasonable brain, then I think you do what you have to do.